In order to solve the global plastics crisis, the world is going to need consumers, industry, regulators, municipal governments all to work together at the same time to come up with alternatives. So I think we're seeing that shift over time. The normal plastic ones are advertised as recyclable, but this is a product that is thriving because of the convenience factor. And if you think about what you have to do to recycle a pod, you have to tear the lid off. The lid is not recyclable. And then you have to pull the filter out and dump the coffee in the green bin. And then once you've pulled all that stuff out, the little pod that is left is recyclable. And then you have to actually live in a country that recycles its plastics. So Canada does very little recycling. Most of the time when you put something in the blue bin in Canada, it goes on a tanker ship and gets sent to Southeast Asia. So if it does go into landfill, it's not going to be any worse than a regular plastic pod. So as you mentioned, there are lots of facilities that don't take bioplastics. This is fine. The number that do is rising, which is great. In Greater Vancouver, some of the facilities have the capacity to process them and some of them don't. So this is something that's changing over time. Think of it like electric vehicle charging stations, right? Like a few years ago, there were none. And so if the argument were made, well, no one should ever drive an electric vehicle because there's no charging stations. The reality is that you need both people to buy the vehicles, companies to make the vehicles, and someone to install the charging stations to create a sustainable form of transport, right? So in the same way, we need companies to actually produce sustainable products, people to buy them, and cities and laws to be made that accommodate them.